Item: SCP-1474. Code name: in solidarity with Shu Lidao, Great Sage, Equal of Heaven. Object Class: Safe. Special Containment Procedures: SCP-1474 is to be kept in Outdoor Storage Area 36. No attempt to enclose SCP-1474 is to be made. Description: SCP-1474 is an installation composed of 3 parts, numbered SCP-1474-1401, -02, and 03. SCP-1474-1401 is a mechanism contained within a standard 12 x 2.4 meters shipping container. The container has several hundred holes drilled into the top and sides, presumably to allow the escape of SCP-1474-1403. SCP-1474-1401 is constructed from wheels, pipes, gears, refrigerators, police tape, cogs, water coolers, and springs. It is capable of operating indefinitely without a power source. During operation, component pieces of SCP-1474-1401 become impossible to break or harm. If a part of the object is removed during SCP-1474-1401's passive state, the object continues to function, regardless of the loss. If efforts to contain SCP-1474-1401 are unsuccessful, or if its containment procedures change, it automatically begins to operate. It is not known how the object is able to detect changes in its environment, nor how its operation is capable of adapting to containment procedures. See Addendum 1474-G87R for additional details. SCP-1474-1402 is a brand speaker affixed to the casing of SCP-1474-1401. Attempts to activate it or locate an internal or external power source have been unsuccessful. SCP-1474-1402 activates an average of once every 3 days. When active, it announces a new series of containment procedures in Mandarin Chinese. The conditions of the announcement must be met to maintain the passive state of SCP-1474-1401. Immediately following the announcement of changing containment procedures, previous containment procedures for SCP-1474-1401 cease to function, and SCP-1474-1401 begins operation. Following operation for more than 1 hour, SCP-1474-1401 releases an aerosol composed of several compounds, including liquid polythene, melamine formaldehyde, and polyvinyl chloride, designated SCP-1474-1403, at a rate of 500 liters per second. Upon contact with a solid, it immediately condenses and forms a barrier around the surface of the object. When coated in a layer of SCP-1474-1403, subjects have been immobilized in 100% of recorded instances. In the event of inhalation, SCP-1474-1403 will coat the interior of the subject's lungs, leading to death by asphyxiation. Non-pulmonary exposure to SCP-1474-1403 does not have any lasting adverse side effects, and the coating can be removed without significant injury. The means by which the components of SCP-1474-1403 have been aerosolized is unknown. SCP-1474 to 1401 and -02 appear immune to the effects of SCP-1474 to 1403, and continue to function without incident in its presence. Review of security footage has revealed that SCP-1474 to 1403 is not emitted by any one portion of SCP-1474 to 1401, but rather comes from the object as a whole. Selected former containment procedures. 20. SCP-1474 to 1401 is to be surrounded by a ring of 19 D-Class personnel wearing standard People's Liberation Army PLA uniforms and fitted with standard CDS collars. The D-Class personnel are to be instructed to sing the Chinese children's song Liang Ji Leo Hu and skip in time to the song. In the event of fatigue, the CDS collars are to deliver a dose of 3 mg of stimulant batch 87 to the jugular vein. Any D-Class personnel attempting to break or leave the ring is to be terminated immediately. Remaining D-Class personnel are to close the ring as quickly as possible and continue containment procedures. 20. 1 D-Class personnel fluent in Mandarin Chinese and clad in a Chinese tunic suit, popularly known as a Mao suit, is to enter the container for SCP-1474 to 1401. The door to the container is to be closed and locked. The D-Class is to narrate an account of their life, from conception to death, told in the first person. The narrative is to be embellished at every possible point, leaving only the most basic elements intact. All narratives are to last at least 3 hours and are to end with the phrase "I forewent attachment and in so doing, won against myself." 20. 400 Papilio Paris peacock butterfly larvae are to be introduced to the container for SCP-1474 to 1401, along with 100 kg of standard nutrient substance 83N. The doors to the container are to be sealed for 14 days. Upon unsealing of the doors, D-Class personnel equipped with butterfly nets are to attempt to recapture as many butterflies as possible. For a complete list of containment procedures, consult Document 1474-8F. Recovery Log 1474. SCP-1474 was discovered by police at 5:30 a.m. on 9 October 2020 in Pekin, China. At the time of discovery, no part of the object was active. The container was opened by officer, who mistook SCP-1474 to 1401 for an explosive device. At 5:45 a.m., members of the local bomb squadron arrived to attempt to defuse the object. A cordon was placed in a 400-meter radius around the object at 5:47 a.m., and civilians evacuated from the area. At 5:48 a.m., SCP-1474 to 1401 and -02 became active, with SCP-1474 to 1402 detailing that a papier-mâché mountain be built to cover it. Attempts to disarm or remotely detonate SCP-1474 to 1401 proved ineffective, and at 6:48 a.m., approximately 10,000 liters of SCP-1474 to 1403 was released into the park, leading to 17 casualties. At this time, several Foundation agents embedded in the police department reported the incident, and the object was eventually taken into Foundation custody. Upon containment, a small placard was found inside SCP-1474 to 1401. For further details, see Document 1474-1D29. Document 1474-1D29. In solidarity with Shu Lidao 1, Great Sage, Equal of Heaven. Jiang San 2, 2508. Only what is clung to can be lost. Only what is trapped can escape. Request 1474 to 1403F. After months and over different containment procedures for SCP-1474, the time has come to re-evaluate its nature. It is not simply an anomalous object, it is a work of art, and must be viewed as such. The placard found within suggests that it is political in nature, specifically about a Chinese political prisoner. Its anomalous properties began to manifest the second that the police barrier around it closed, and have only continued despite our best efforts at containment. As a work of art, it is dependent on context. The context for the work is containment and imprisonment. If we no longer contain it, containment will cease to be an issue. Requesting permission to relocate SCP-1474 outdoors in a non-enclosed area. Dr. Lomax. Request granted. SCP-1474 is to be moved temporarily to Outdoor Storage Facility 3605. Addendum 1474 G87R. After several rounds of testing, it appears that SCP-1474 ceases activity when not enclosed. For the past 5 weeks, SCP-1474 to 1401 and -02 have been completely inactive. Propose changing containment procedures to reflect these findings. Dr. Lomax. Request granted 05. Footnotes. 1. Chinese artist and political activist. Arrested in 2005. Currently serving a 10-year prison sentence for disruption of political harmony and agitation against the state. 2. A Chinese placeholder name, used in a context similar to that of John Doe in English.